Hello, everyone. Welcome back to KvltDeFi. Everyone out there, you know that KvltDeFi is the channel where we bring you the latest and greatest in innovations and tech in decentralized finance, more specifically on Pulse Chain, and even more specifically, the Jacob ecosystem of projects on Pulse Chain. We have two pretty cool cats in the house with us today. We have KryptoKoolaid and we have Brissology. We're going to be talking really about Pulse Mafia. Pulse Mafia, anyone that doesn't know, is the newest project from Jacob. It was based on the foundations of the Thank You Richard Hart project. The Thank You Richard Hart project was a protocol which, through its taxes, was actually burning the RH tokens. Through a random generator, number generator, it was choosing one of the four. And I think to date, or actually in February, when Pulse had its most recent high, I think we burnt easily $1 million incentive token, $1 million worth of incentive token. I think to date we probably burnt maybe 3 billion Pulse. We burnt a hell of a lot of stuff, but the groundwork, but the groundwork for that is what brought us onto Mafia. So it's going to be a multi-token ecosystem. We're still in the very early stages at the moment, and I know that my two guests here are in. And we're all having a little bit of fun while we wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Welcome, guys.
It's actually pretty exciting getting the character all set up, and just kind of running through what's available. And I'm pretty excited to see what's to come. I just have a quick question. Is this inspired by any other like cryptocurrency game out there or anything?
No, this is literally Jacob with a pen and a piece of paper.
Wow,
it's what he does.
Really cool.
He every one of Jacob's projects, he literally starts with a pen and a piece of paper, and he says, okay, what does the market really need? What are the big markets that are out there? For example, when we did Pulse Pop, with the gambling, it was literally, okay, gambling is a big market by itself. What can we do to sort of to leverage that? And now with Mafia, I mean, I think gaming is going to be huge this cycle. I mean, Kool-Aid, I know that you're a game dev. Hopefully you'll be able to teach us a bit of stuff here tonight, because on the surface, Mafia looks great. Right now you can literally just do you can create your players, create your families, open your crates, but it's coming. It's coming. When this thing launches, I mean, I can't believe that we're almost at $1 billion Pulse already. It's only been a week.
Well, entertainment's really the key to almost everything from advert to expression and getting yourself involved in something. I think it's really fascinating to see where this goes within the click-through of people living in the 5-minute candle and instead of living in a 5-hour game, a 5-hour point of contention to use your time in a more positive outlook. And also, if you get paid to be entertained, you have perfect market fit, not product market fit. So this whole ideal of play and earn, I don't think play to earn. That's more of a gimmicky gambling way of looking at it, right? But when you play and you earn at the same time, your time is valuable and you're getting reward for that time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Briss, are you in a family at the moment? Have you joined one of the families?
I am actually. So my buddy, I have a friend in real life. He created the Trump family.
Okay.
So I joined that family, and my character is actually Baron Trump. So that's fine.
That's definitely a crime right there, Briss. That's definitely. Yeah, no.
I thought it was pretty funny. So I was like, you know what? I'll play a little character. So if anyone wants to join, you know what family to join, right?
Yeah, and then I'm with Gifford Ware over on the Gearheads. Giff actually woke me up the morning of this launch super early. He's like, dude, come look at this. And we both were really, really kind of studying the entire process. He was looking at the code and how it was elegantly done. I was looking at the core mechanics and then how the loops actually work in the game. Mike Sellers, a really famous guy that I quote all the time, says if you can build a video game out of an Excel spreadsheet, then you can actually make a game. So you can actually just look at documentation, not trying to suss what could happen, but just how the documentation folds on each other and different components link, and you can almost see it in your head. And that's what we could see from the beginning of this. And it's really exciting to see not just Jacob, but other people thinking around this way about what crypto really could be used for in an interesting way.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a good point. I mean, we see here Jacob already is Jacob's in the house. Incredible point. Play and earn. Well done, Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it's the subtleties, right? And that's one thing about Jacob's talking with KG the other day, and he was really laying into how the drama feeds into so much more that you get attached to, and it's that narrative of that drama that works everything in. You know, stories is what really gets you involved, and not just leaving that your story. And that's really the difference between a book, a game, and a movie. All have a different way of engrossing you. The difference is participation. In a game, you're actively clicking a button. You're actively being engaged and actually having follow through to that attachment. You know, a movie ends, a game could go on forever, or my story can live on.
So at the moment, Kool-Aid, question for you. So your family are absolutely on fire at the moment. I mean, I even think that you've got a serious number of resources. I was looking at them today. You got a roulette table even this afternoon, I think, or literally about an hour ago, wasn't it?
I did. Yeah, I've got a roulette and a slot. I'm in the casino. Yeah, the family's coming along well. But one thing that I was talking to Gif about, just having this as a thing, right before we were making characters, like, this is such good team building. And when you think about something like that, you can take that team building across into communities, into a workplace type of thing. That's why people go paintballing, but that's why they go do, you know, excursions. And it's really the difference between gambling and a game like something like this is what's called a roguelike, or playing on extreme hardcore mode. You only get one life, playing something like Dark Souls. And so it really levels up what you're trying to get out of that experience versus someone just saying like, oh, this is gambling or something like that. However, the Pulse Pot stuff was going fantastic as well. And it's interesting how he's going to be blending different parts of different protocol experiments that he'd been working on, and then blending them together into a hive of multiple different things. Yeah.
That's one thing actually that, you know, obviously because I've just sort of been around the Jacob ecosystem since the very beginning, really, and I like the fact that when he brings out something new or there's a new product coming around, he'll mix and match. He'll take little pieces from, you know, one of the protocols, like the random number generator, for example. He'll take that and he'll spread it across all his different projects, and it's like constant refinement. You know what I mean? He's like he's constantly refining it, a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, and then in the end, we're like, holy shit! What, you know? Sorry, excuse my French. We're like, oh my god! Like what do we have here? Like this in itself, this Mafia, I think, is an absolute beast of a protocol. And as Jacob does this constant refinement, I mean, I think we haven't even really begun to see the potential that this has. I mean, from a game developer point of view, I mean, what do you think about it, Kool-Aid?
Oh, it's not just a game developer point of view. Look at how we're building gift tech and all the rest on that side through components, through simulation in real time and not speculation. So each of these things that he's refining, he's bringing it back into the greater whole. It had a purpose for to do that simulation and bring it back. And that's really what you want to do when you're really making a game. Like, a bit about my history. I've been in the gaming industry 18 years. I'm a level architect, visual storyteller, world builder. It's really a niche position. But you have to look at all the cornerstones and what you're doing. And if it's not working, throw it away and do it again. You need to keep refining that lightning each time you move forward. Otherwise, not only does it get stagnant, it doesn't continue to innovate to keep people engrossed. All of those things are what come up to make something engaging that you want to come back to, that stickiness. And you can see all of that happening here. The first Hex convention, I said, treat your wallet like a character. And now you're doing that. You're actually putting my persona into this wallet. I'm attached to these items or these games or these families, these communities. Even if they're opposing families, they're all within the same game, in the same community of people. And that's what makes it fascinating, especially having on 2 different chains as well. So being able to suss out the stuff on easier, proven tech, being that BNB's been around forever, you can really get back to the core mechanics of the game and what's working, and not the technology aspect of the game. Because if a game ships, that doesn't mean it's fun. Being fun is a very different success than actually getting it out the door and having it work. And so like doing in this proper rollout is not only exactly how you would do it, but it's why I'm so excited for this kind of thing. It's the first DeFi token I've ever touched, in fact.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I just, to be fair, I think most of the stuff people build is a joke. And so if I'm going to like use that kind of method with what I actually do, I can immediately see the success, not just of this, but why this idea, this idiom, is going to be extremely successful.
I got a question about how one of the mechanics works, if you can talk about it at all, because I really like the idea of how you stake the Mafia coin, and that brings in the dollars into your bank account. And I like how it has a little like 5% rate as it's ticking up. I'm just wondering about after the game launches, because I know you get your staked Mafia back after the game launches. How does the Mafia coin work after the game launches? Will you stake it and get cash just like how it is right now, or is it a little bit different?
At the moment, we don't know.
Okay.
We don't know on the outside. This is something which obviously Jacob is going to be adding to the wiki as we go. But we do know that as soon as, yes, if you stake something now, it gets also compounded at 0.5% on a daily basis up until game launch. When the game launches, then yes, everyone will receive their Mafia tokens back plus their interest or their yield, should we say? And then after that, to be perfectly honest, I think it will be a matter of, okay, stake it again for in-game currency.
Yeah.
But I don't think there will be any auto compounding again once we actually go live. I think it's just until we go live. I
think that's a really smart way to use the Mafia coin, is to stake it to earn in-game Mafia. Because I used to play this other online text-based game like 20 years ago, and it's actually still online. I'm kind of surprised. It's called Utopia Online, and it's kind of similar in a way where but it's like more has like mythological creatures like humans, orcs, elves, things like that, and it has kingdoms, which is like similar to the families. But I always thought, I was like, dude, I would love to see a game like that tokenized for crypto. And, in my mind, before I'm like, because I was a big Bitcoin guy, I was like, how would you use it? Would you use like each Satoshi equals one in-game coin? But the way Mafia is currently doing it, where you stake the coin, but you actually get a separate in-game like gold, in-game dollar. I think that's a really smart way of doing it.
So there's a couple different things that you can look at the system that actually already does. And by changing an inflation metric on the token itself, you actually you change not only how the game's balanced, but you're also adding a different control vector that isn't necessary. So for example, the way that Mafia does is it runs off of a tax-based system. We'll just call it the tax man, because it's not really a reflection. It is, but there's a better term for this kind of thing because it's a self-balancing ecosystem with the sell tax that goes to the tax man in the game. Now, if you want to use the marketplace and sell off for off-game currency, there's a 20% tax there. So if you're really, 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 really up in the game, the tax is actually feeding back into the loop. So that way those vaults can come up with that digital fake currency that's technically not extracted from the game. So it does actually have that within its balancing loop and reinforcement loop through taxes and dividends. If you look at how the interest is done through the actual bank itself, if you stake more, it actually gives you less interest. That's interesting. That means the whales have to split up the money. But more importantly, the wallets have to split up the money, because if the wallet only goes to one character, now you're having to make a lot of wallets like Zen to split off that type of stuff. And then those will have to be staked through those wallets. I don't believe you can lose Mafia in the game. And I need to see the whole substrate of the list. And I believe all the currency lost is on the digital dossier, if you will, in-game stuff. But once you start inflating a token, or especially the Mafia token itself, it comes off of its billion token kind of threshold that's easy to suss out the ones and zeros, or the sine waves, so how you need to balance that kind of stuff. By the way, Colt, I sent you a screenshot of a balancing loop and feedback loop if you want to bring that up at some point, because I'm going to talk a lot about loops and why it works. And that's probably the cooler thing about this entire process, is it's built on those loops, such as character creation. The first thing you press, you're just like, I'm excited to see this. And then like kind of like what we're doing over in the Gearheads is telling interactive stories about each character, about their city, about what they're trying to do, because that builds more of a narrative to what it means to me to take part in this experience archived on the blockchain. Because that's what's even cooler. Your story is hard cooked into the blockchain, in the depth, in the metadata of the NFT, in the blacklist. That means that that wallet name, that character name, can never come back after he's dead. So it gives a bit of immortality to the experience.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a hell of a lot of pretty cool gameplay and strategy when this comes around. Obviously, having someone that looks at it the way you're looking at it right now, everything you just explained to us, I think that is going to be absolutely invaluable as the game starts to really progress. I know already, I mean, you're pretty much top player, I think, aren't you, KryptoKoolaid, at the moment?
Yeah, I suppose. The game, you get addicted to the crates, and sometimes you get a lucky draw. But man, I just can't wait to see what's going to happen when the map is there. Because I'm actually thinking about, if you look at this kind of game, you can look at old drug wars or dope wars, or they look at like old muds, or even like a walker, like God Mist from back in the day, and how all those components of a district comes in. So we have, what, 7 cities? And each city has tiles, clearly for businesses. So if you think about that, like on a hex board, like something in SimCity or Civilization, there's got to be a different number of locations for activities or random encounters to come up. So that's going to be cool. Like, what is a map going to look like? And at that point, we're going to see how travel works too. So like looking at how these roll out, build really great anticipation. And even the drama that we're seeing in the Telegram channels between and all the rest is absolutely hysterical, but it's fun, right?
Yeah. No, I think, I mean, talking to Jacob, you know, in the background, he loves this drama.
Yeah,
he loves this drama that's going on.
I could tell that from the first thing when his interview with KG. It's milking the drama. I love it, but you want a good story to be visceral. Like, as a storyteller, I want something in your mouth that you can't get out. Like, just that taste of, what did I just watch? What did I just experience? It doesn't have to be bad or good. It just has to be unforgettable. And when you get drama, you get that by default. And that's as long as it's playful fun, right? You know what I mean? The drama on crypto Twitter is crazy, but this is fun, right? You know what I mean? It's all supposed to be theatrics. Yeah,
I think as soon as people are able to be killed in this game, I think that's when we're really going to see a real drama. You know, right now, yes, there's a bit of bickering back and forward, but I think when players can just be killed, and you know, you wake up one morning and your wallet is drained, and you're like, oh my God, here we go. You know, I think there's going to be some hits put out on people, and I think they'll be quite public as well.
Well, that's the fun thing. Is like, technically you can actually do it as a quiet kill, so and not broadcast it. But I'm sure that's where detectives come in, because if there's detectives on one side to actually hunt down someone, there has to be a reinforcement loop on the other side that someone will. If you can pay to put a hit on someone, you should be able to pay to research who put that hit out on you, right? It's all about flipping that turn card.
I think it's going to be great.
Reading through the game wiki, and it seems like there's going to be a lot of criteria that's met before you can actually put out any damage. And
Yeah.
I was just kind of wondering, like, is it like the amount of hearts you have on you? Will that absorb a number of bullets? Or so I know it's. Go ahead.
How about I would respond is you would handle it just like a pen and paper game. So if you think about a pen and paper game, you throw some dice, your character sheet has modifiers, and you have, crit or fails on your throws. And then your opponent has those other modifiers as well. So as long as you're rolling at a particular length, that should be the trigger system for you to take damage in return, like on any game, right? It doesn't matter what game it is. This is just you could apply the same thing to chess. So I think that's what we're going to see in that regard. What I'm curious about is the turns, like actions and turns before someone else can go again, right? It's not like it's a live video game. It is to a point, but it actually isn't like Unreal or Unity or something like that. So that's going to be really interesting on the delay between each turn and notifications that you can get on your phone to react. Can you use helpers to script you to go run somewhere else? Like, very interesting things that you can do with this.
Mm-hmm. No, I think so too. I mean, we do know that bullets and health are going to be their own tokens, like real world tokens with their own LPs that are going to be tradable. So I think that bullets and health are going to be absolutely huge for this game. I mean, obviously, you need bullets to be able to actually do anything inside the game, really. Anyway, but it'll be very, very interesting to see. Once the marketplace goes live, because we know that there's already people that are trying to do backdoor sales of their utilities and things like that at the moment. But I think when the marketplace goes live, we'll start to see some of the families. I don't know if we'll see a lot of the families that will just try to hoover up all the resource. I don't think we'll see that at the moment. It's still very early stages, but it'll give us a better picture of the value of all these type of things, because we know Jacob has already said that it's going to be pretty expensive to kill someone.
Sure. Well, it's going to be expensive to kill someone, and I think I read somewhere that you have to pay more than you have to get. But there's also going to be the retribution of using that, because that is also in the cost per play. But you hit something right on the head in the beginning, is that you want to see how these things work in real time with the first level of mechanic before you introduce too many other things, because otherwise you muddy the simulation. That's why when we did everything with Gift Tech, we went through component to component, then to another token with more advancements in the theory and the process, and then another one with more advancements in the theory and the process. If you go too far too quickly, not only will people get lost, but you may not get the best assessment of what you're trying to simulate within that particular strike that you're trying to learn from.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine if Jacob dropped this game full from the beginning, I can't imagine what it would be like trying to explain to people how it all works. It would be a monumental effort,
I know the next question I have is, like, I heard, like, if you want to go to a different city, you need a vehicle, and those have cooldowns of like 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. But so my question is if I have multiple vehicles, NFTs on my character, can I go to one city and then that NFT has a cooldown period? Can I leave in another car like within a couple minutes, or do I have to wait for that whole cooldown period? Do you know? Or
I mean, I can guess, because how those would work would either be by garages based on location. If a garage is a localized thing, because it didn't seem like a garage was actually a node-based operation that you could place, like someone to have a faction over you. So I'd assume that you would leave particular cars in particular locations, or it just auto summons it and you have one primary, right? And so, like, if you have a plane, you only really have one plane. It's not like I have a plane in this area and a plane in that area. That plane will take me to another continent, which is another interesting vector. That means the American mafia are isolated theoretically from the Italian mafia, theoretically, if we can't travel that far yet. And then cooldown, if you want to really consider what that does that mean I can't move for 30 minutes or I can't travel again for 30 minutes? So then you could be
stuck.
You
just can't travel on that particular NFT.
Correct.
For 30 minutes.
All could be variables that we'll have to see once the documentation come out.
I'm assuming it's going to be like the cooldown would be for that specific NFT, because otherwise, what's the point of owning multiple cars?
No, you have a good point. You have a good point. Or when one gets damaged and has to be repaired. But no, that's the turn-based system that I was talking about before. How do you react if someone attacks you? Do I have an immediate response? Is there a timing period between someone can sign their next transaction to attack again? When can you run? All of those are going to be based on the turns that we'll see once we get more of what's going on. But that's what I'm actually excited for. The whole NFT marketplace is cool, but we've been in crypto trading stuff forever. Like seeing something go in between hands, that's not exciting. But seeing the map and the turn-based system and understanding the depth of the world that we can interact with, because I can already see where this could go and where it's going to work together already. And that's really exciting to see comparatively to the next first-person shooter or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that over time, I think that this actually really, even Jacob said on one of his streams that this game is it's probably got a lifespan of about 20 years. So I think as we do start to refine this, and as it starts to come out, and I mean the further along the line we get, with all these little changes that Jacob is making, I mean, I actually think this probably, I mean, really, you could turn this into an actual proper game.
Sure.
I mean, like I said real quick, like I said earlier, that other game, that text-based game I play, Utopia, it's still on. And like I played it literally like probably 25 years ago. But it's I would say you're showing your age, but I mean, I think the three of us here, I think we're all in our 40s, aren't we?
That's right. That's right. Shit hurts.
Yeah. I really still can't believe. I mean, we're at 900 million pulse in the vault so far. It's only been a week.
And
it's crazy.
5 billion pulse is what the launch number is, but I still believe that regardless of that, we have to wait for the iterations to come out.
Yeah. So I mean, if we were to hit the 5 billion tomorrow, we'd still have to wait. Yeah. Jacob, actually, if you're in here, I know you were in here earlier. If you're still in here now, just let us know, please.
Yeah, and I guarantee you the answer is probably going to be yes on that, because at the end of the day, you don't want to rush things regardless. In the film industry, you have something called fix it in post. In the gaming industry, we call it ship it. That means it's good enough. Get it out the damn door. Like hardly anything ever gets out the door. Doesn't mean it's fun. So
now everything's just in beta, forever beta.
It depends
on fix it later.
Well, it depends on how long it takes to get it out the door. I mean,
it's like everything on Steam, right? It's always in beta.
Well, early access is actually, this is what this is right here. This is early access. And so like getting to see all this stuff behind the scenes, it's like kickstarting a project. You got to see the developer diaries or the game Bible or all the rest of that. So this early access release is a very good way to do it, because not only is it building its repertoire, its excitement and anticipation, but it's being built in a way that's scalable and usable across the board. And that's the smart way to do it, to make sure that it not only is just successful, but it has longevity.
No, for sure. For sure. I'm just looking at these families down here. Does anyone know who the Salamancas are?
I do not.
I know. Whoever it is, they're not very vocal in the telegrams, I've noticed.
I know who one of the persons is, but yeah, I think actually some people just lying low and watching it's a good game strategy. I mean, sometimes the squeaky wheel gets the grease, but it also means you know where everyone is for that wheel. And so everyone can kind of like suss on how do they want to like take part in this experience and how they do it and go from there. But it's pretty interesting to watch all the families kind of come together and what their particular strategies are, and who's making noise, who's not making noise, all the rest of that kind of stuff.
Oh, here we go, Jacob. So the 5 billion is a rough estimate on desired value and development time.
Yep,
that's fair enough.
It's all based on treasuries too, right? So you want to have enough treasuries that when you open the market sale, people can move it in, that enough tokens have been taxed to fill up the particular vault, that tokens have been staked long enough to build up an even economy, you know, between the different things. So there's a lot of things that you want to consider.
I had a question, and obviously I don't think either of you guys know, but I was just wondering if crates were going to be limited after launch. I forget what I saw, but I thought I saw something that maybe alluded to that.
You know what? I don't know the answer to that one, actually. That one's never come up before.
It would be
you would think, yeah, you would think that would be pretty big news, actually. I don't think there's a limit to the NFTs. I mean, I don't really see how or why. I mean, obviously, people are going to constantly need bullets. People are going to constantly, you know, want to increase their health. Obviously, you would need it. For example, if you have a hospital, you know, you're gonna need the health and stuff like that. So it makes sense to just have them available all the time. Right?
Well, those are going to be those two are going to be tokens of themselves, which you'll be able to buy on the market. But I could see it where it's like every week there's only like 100 or maybe 500 crates, and those all have, you know, assortment of assets inside of them, and so it gives people a reason, like, oh, let me at least get like 2 or 3 of them,
sure,
before they're all gone.
Well, so what Max just said is that business objects are limited, so that means a limited number of we'll call those the rares, right? And the other ones really are feeding the economy, because what you'll sell them for either an in-game or an external pulse with a tax currency. But having the rarity of different things, because let's consider those business operations sockets, right? And so a business can go in there in a socket, just like a little house in Monopoly. But eventually in Monopoly, it can be into a hotel and it could upgrade. So there are ways that you could actually use the system that he's building to long tail critique those type of things once we get into a more established game.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense.
New purchases of crates will die with game launch. In-game items will be overtaken by inflationary.
Also, I just want to mention, do you guys like my Mafia background?
I do. I saw that. Very nice.
Yeah.
I got my air conditioner right here.
There you go.
You can't see it because it cut it off, but there's more hexagons up here.
Nice.
With other pulse chain assets.
So speaking of backgrounds and stuff, you want to, can I share a screen real quick? GIF or
sure, of course.
The newest video. Oh, and I haven't even seen it yet. Let's see here.
Absolutely.
Window. Screen.
I'm in the Don's office.
Screen 3, 2. All right.
I'm gonna put a head out on Kool-Aid.
Think so, aren't you?
He's not gonna join the Trump family. He needs some slapping around, boys.
Let's see.
How are you guys actually doing the your recruitment? I know that Max is absolutely. I mean, Max for the syndicate. I know that he's engaging people nonstop. He's absolutely going for it. Because I was actually looking on Kool-Aid, your family. You got like 29 members, but I haven't seen any. I haven't seen any real recruitment drive or push you in the Telegram.
There really isn't. We'll get to that kind of stuff. We're kind of working on other things like this right here. Let me know if you guys have some sound. Do you have sound?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen and lady, let me show you what my detective agency can do. We're tracking a test target tonight. Brother KG from the Internet Money family. Trust me, he was easier to find than a needle in a stack of needles.
All right, Tony, let's see what you've got.
Detective Team Alpha, report. What's the status on Brother KG?
Target located, boss. He's at the Internet Money hideout as expected. No movement.
See? Simple. Now let's talk numbers. You can hire detectives in each town to track down your target. Here's the breakdown. One detective costs $5,000 and takes 60 minutes to find a target in Napoli. Now, if you hire 20 detectives for $100,000, they'll find your target in about 15 minutes. And if you really want speed, 100 detectives for $500,000 will get you results in just 3 minutes.
That's some serious firepower. What about other cities?
Right now, we can monitor Napoli efficiently, but we have the capability to expand and cover multiple cities simultaneously.
I've got expertise in running detective operations. I can handle a second location in Bogota. We'll have this down to an art in no time.
All right, Tony. You've shown us you can deliver. Welcome to the Gearhead family.
We'll make a formidable team, Tony. Let's get to work.
And Tony, just remember, if your detectives can keep track of Brother KG, maybe they can keep tabs on Kool-Aid and prevent him from making his next hit on my office plants.
You guys are out here making your own damn ass cutscenes. Look at that.
Jesus Christ, that is really good.
Dude, the
well
GIF
done.
is
That is
slaying.
awesome.
It's not even me. It's not even me. It's the GIF. He is crushing. I'm working on a pretty cool little sizzle intro. I don't know.
That was really cool.
It's
I like that. That was
cool.
actually pretty neat.
Yeah.
Dude, every day he's getting better at this. But I mean, GIF and I have been going at stuff together for a long, long time. And we're a really interesting pairing on how we work together. And when he wants to do something, he crushes it, and he does it well, and it has a purpose. It has a meaning. It sells it with feeling. And we get that from, this game and what Jacob's doing. And, that's another reason why we want to participate. We want to actually come and bring more to the table and build on things, both thematically and logistically. And that's what we need to build our chain and bring it into better stasis. So instead of just recruiting by posting a Telegram link, we want to go tell some story. Same thing with FanForge. We want to bind the entertainment industry through FanForge, through video games, movies, audio dramas on the Pulse chain. This type of stuff.
Tell us a bit more about FanForge then.
Yeah, of course. I'm famous for the intro from Arcane Studios on Prey, and I wrote a deck called Macabre, which is a pretty interesting way to bind entertainment through NFTs 3.5 years ago or something like that. And I sent it to my buddy Joseph, and his first boss was Paul Limon. So Paul Limon is a cinematic finisher for Blizzard for 24 years, created Tyrael and Diablo 1. And almost all of game dev is very, very, very small and close niche. My first art director is currently the art director for Diablo 4. My last art director is art director for BioShock 4. My second creative director is now the vice president for the Wizards of the Coast. So it gets really bloody small. And Paul decided to leave this and start an AI-based company focusing on audio dramas. And so we've got about 10 founders, all in different experience levels, to really bind entertainment, audio dramas, and things like that onto a tokenized, upgradable NFT system, but also focus on digital rights managements for the artists and the creators. Have those creators get royalties as they get trading. When you think about prestige, it's about owning something, having the rights to it, like a Spider-Man 1, and getting the upgrade or utility that it gives you to pass process with, right? So that's what we want to start doing, is the easiest strike to do audio dramas and be the tip of the spear for IP management for other companies to, get involved. And they're super excited because we're already in talks with a lot of Hollywood in the video game industry. We have one game signed already, whole bunch of films and stuff signed up, but they were excited to use Pulse Chain because it's bringing the new tech and start of everything balancing and growing together that would allow for Hollywood money to do very well here, and also to push the ecosystem of entertainment onto here as a lion's share, as a fledgling whole. Like, everyone here is an equal footing because we all started building here at the same time. And the real onboarding system is, what's easier to get someone into crypto? Have them be entertained, have them watch a movie, have them collect a trading card, have them get a story and experience that they come back to, and not even realize they may be on crypto to begin with. So all of this stuff really is interesting on how we can work together in the we for not me mindset that seems like a lot of Pulse Chain's been about recently.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't because honestly, until a few days ago, I didn't really know that much about you, to be honest. But you know, really, just literally in the last few days, I caught you on another stream as well. I think it was the DGen Roundtable or something.
Mhm.
And I was and you were actually talking about your projects there, and it's really really interesting stuff.
Well, if you want to get people into GameFi or crypto or all the rest of that, you have to look at what their experience is. Anything can be as simple or as complex as you want it to be. There's really no difference between a steam engine and a nuclear reactor, but the fuel. But the gears are turning the same way. And when you turn on your light switch, do you really care? No, you don't. You just want the convenience of the switch to turn on. But the more that you look into something, you're like, wow, what's under the hood? Briz is a car guy. He enjoys driving cars because he also likes working on them, and vicariously the same thing. So he's going to understand more about it because he's passionate about it, and he was entertained. And so I think that's what we're going to get with crypto, is having video games, educational systems, more than just staring at a toxic chart. That's where we really win in adoption, right? If you think about it, the first blockchain was ham radio, right? Low range frequencies to connect other people. The first Bitcoin was EverQuest gold mining. The first NFT was a read-write attachment in an email. You actually sent something, it acknowledged it, and you received a good. The first DEX was the World of Warcraft auction house. And so looking at how people are being connected to these things, it just needs to be either more entertaining with a better UI, or they need to see monetary value into learning it, which is the pay and earn ecosystem, or anything else of that nature.
I think this game has a lot of potential to bring in a lot of people.
It's huge.
Because
that's the plan. Yeah.
Everyone, you know, everyone loves gangster shit, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's a special. It's almost like a genre of itself in movies. So everyone loves like old school gangster stuff, and like I never played the that Axie game over on Ethereum, but it definitely caught my attention. I heard about it a lot, and I was just like, I even thought about like should I check it out? But I just wasn't interested enough. But this game, this one's cool because it's like, I don't know, it's like a text-based game, and I like those.
Or a board game. It's very akin to like a board game, a text-based a paper game, like an old Dungeons and Dragons game. That's refreshing from my point of view, being that I worked in AAA for so long. And you can just see it. Like, you could expand on it later. It's not like you couldn't turn this into a top-down RTS or TFS. You know, you could do all that, but why start there when this is just as successful? That's why with the FranForge, audio dramas are such an easy win, because the old-timey movies, right? You used to be able to listen to those shows online. It's a quick fix. It's something that gets you dug into a series. And that's so much of an easier way to task something that you could build up to something more later. And that's what I love about it.
I'll tell you this. I grew up on video games. I remember the very first like video game was like on the Nintendo. It was probably Super Mario Brothers 3. And I just played video games all my life, but now that I'm an old man, you know, I try and play video games. Like I just got the Ghost of Tsushima.
It's a really good one.
And man, I can only play games for like 15, 20 minutes. And then I'm like, man, what is my crypto doing? I'm like, I gotta get off this. I gotta go look on Twitter. I gotta go see if there's any new YouTube videos. Who's saying what? Is there like this Twitter Spaces going on? You know, I can't focus on this damn ass video games because like I'm so into crypto. And so I like this particular game because you can go check, you know, click some buttons, look at the pictures, see what's going on, and then get back to life. You're not stuck playing like a video game for multiple hours at a time. And so I like these kind of games where it gives me like my ADD. I can't play regular video games anymore.
Oh, I think I only play one a year or two a year if I'm lucky. Because when you make them for a living, it's fun at times, but spending time in a chair just makes it work. But something engaging to do it and me dump a huge amount of time in. Yeah, if I get one or two a year, dope. But what I like is it's the stickiness that it forces you to go away to tell you to come back later, right? It forces you to take a little time off, which actually builds anticipation. If you look at the success of like Game of Thrones versus like Three Body Problem, with Three Body Problem, they released all the episodes at the same time. Whereas with Game of Thrones, do you have a week? That week, that anticipation is what makes it where people can't burn through the series as fast, which means that it gives time for talking points, for communities to build tension, to talk around the watering hole, to wait for your wife or your husband to come home or your kids to get there or to go to bed. You're using this tension to really engage what you want even more. Because if you give it everything away immediately, you may not appreciate it. Or, it doesn't give the drama that it could have had, given its extension and how people consume it.
It won't resonate as much. That was also one of the things I realized that I liked about Game of Thrones being every week, because back in the day when it was playing, I was on Reddit a lot more. I'm never on Reddit anymore, but I'd go into the Game of Thrones subreddit, and for a whole week, I just get to read like fan theories, and then I really get to soak in that information. And then when the next episode airs, I feel like I'm walking into that next episode with way more context, a lot more information, a lot more backstory that other people know way better than I do. And so I'm like, oh, I know something about that character. It's not even in the show, and I know about it. So I kind of like that.
It's community, right? It gives you a chance to really build a community. I actually think that this game has, we can already see now that there are splinter Telegram chats from the different families, and other people are opening Telegrams just so they can talk strategy and things like that. But what do we think then about this as a possible onboarding tool for Pulse Chain?
It's fantastic.
I think it's great. I think it has the potential to really draw in a large swath of video game players that are cross sectioned with crypto guys. I think those are two like things that are like it's like part of the, what's it called, the
Venn diagram.
Yeah, the Venn diagram. The crossovers.
Yeah. No, you're right. And like, not only that, it's complex and it's simple. It looks fantastically well done. It doesn't really feel like you're playing a crypto game. Once you just get your tokens in there, you're just earning experience points. That's all the money is, experience points. And if you have that experience points, remember, a roguelike is a game that you can't die, one life, random game usually too. And your quarters that you put into the game is your mafia that you staked or someone gifted to you or whatever. And now that's the amount of lives that you have based on your experience and based on what you have to protect yourself with. And that's super easy to understand. You can make it like an Animal Crossing type thing if that's more of the liking on what someone wants. But this has all the nuts and bolts for something that has drama, intrigue, violence, betrayal, horror. You lost your whole bag. Now you still have your mafia tokens. So you just lost your turn, right? Your character's game over. You just have to start over. But if you have your same mafia in a state, re-earn it, right? It didn't take it from your wallet, as long as I understand that mechanic is correct. Then it allows you to build within that ecosystem, then to earn and sell and do whatever. But it's just your lives. And it's sticky. So why wouldn't people want to onboard this way? It's clever. It's very, very, very clever, but it's really what we have to do, because no one wants to learn about traditional finance, crazy DeFi protocols. They just want to be entertained and talk shit.
Yeah. I mean, I know that the Thank You Richard Hart protocol, the one that spawned the idea for this, at one point that was responsible for 10% of all the transactions on Pulse Chain. So and this is a bigger beast than that. So I mean, I think the validators are going to be kept very happy with this.
You played Thank You Richard Hart, didn't you, Briz?
What was that?
Did you take part in the Thank You Richard Hart system?
No.
I never did either. I'm really sad I didn't, because this is really bloody cool. I just never got around to looking at it and putting my eyes on it, which is unfortunate. I mean, I was in PulsePot for a little bit, still have some in there, but I just don't ever in too many Telegram rooms and too many things to look at. But it was really bloody cool. But this has all the legs to do it. That's why I was messaging Briz last night. I'm like, so you're actually playing? Like, I know you got to be playing, because like, why wouldn't you play? It's fun.
Yeah, you know, it's 2,000 PLS to create a character, which what is
2,000 Mafia.
Oh, it's 2,000 Mafia. Okay.
2,000 Mafia. Actually, the price of Mafia and PLS is around the same, I think, right now. Anyway.
All right, and that's fairly cheap. All the transactions to do stuff is really affordable. The crates, not gonna lie, they're a little pricey. Like they're like $20 each. So I'm just kind of wondering. I guess the NFTs of like bodyguards and cars and stuff. I guess there's gonna be an NFT marketplace coming up, right?
Literally in the next few days. Jacob said probably Monday or Tuesday, I think.
So do you know, Cult, if there's going to be unlimited in-game purchasing power from the in-game store? So for example, I've got a car. Clearly, if I have a car crusher and you take a car, you can crush those for bullets.
Mm-hmm.
That's another way to get around buying bullets. But if I had that same car and I didn't want to crush it, could I just sell it to an auto vendor? So is there a base level of currency for an automatic store to offset your goods back into in-game currency? Not Pulse, because that would be the NFT marketplace, most likely.
Mm-hmm. I don't know is the honest answer. I mean, the wiki is constantly getting added to all the time. So this is, again, Jacob, if you're here, this is a very good point, actually. We don't know, because I honestly think that once the marketplace goes live, that's what's really going to set the price. I mean, it's really just, it's going to set the price. But again, it's really only whatever people are going to be willing to pay, right? So we might actually see that a lot of the big families I think we'll see a lot of the big families, even if they are trying to buy stuff, obviously they're going to be trying to get stuff at real discounts. And I think that there are going to be people who maybe have some really good in-game utilities that they think are going to be way priced above what we all think, if that makes sense. Jacob said the answer is yes.
So was that it's going to be set by the open market, or was it that there's an auto vendor? I'll get on to Jacob. I'd love to get on an actual call and do a crate giveaway thing, and us to dive deep around all the idioms of the design, because it's really not only well done, but just fascinating, because it's the right type of things that you want to be getting to people engaged in a system, and load balancing the economy of the system in its same area. You know, most games are a closed loop monetary value system, but if you find a game bug where you get infinite money, well, the game drastically changes. So this has both load and balance or reinforcement to have all of those come up together.
I just want to be able to protect my character from like the Tang Gang Bang Ganging me. You know what I mean? I don't want to say something. You saw my block list. I have enemies.
Oh, I know. It's going to be sons of, what do they call themselves? The sons of Orangearchy.
I'm just checking these comments here now. So Marketplace Monday or Tuesday, Jacob said. That'll be a big one. When the map comes out as well, that'll be very big.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, KvltDeFi. If Jacob, I mean, I'll be happy to facilitate you and Jacob doing a stream. I would definitely watch that.
Yeah,
it'll probably be way. I'd be like a deer in the headlights, really. Listen to you guys come back and forth, to be honest.
Well, it's crazy because I swear to God, he had the game Bible for pimp. So I built a game very similar to this in 2013 in Unity. On my other side, I was lead artist of Marquee World in Unreal 3. So we were doing real concerts in real time through the engine. And then the other sister game that we were working on was Pimp. So instead of gangsta shit, it was Hookers and Blow. But it had a very similar like street thug life to it. And that's why like I saw this, I'm like, I've seen this game before. This is going to be great. And of course, ours never got released. So this is like me being able to say what I almost made, 13 years ago in real time. I'm like, I can't wait to see if he does this.
Yeah, I think this is really going to be, this is going to sort of, stamp a bit of authority, I think, on the whole blockchain, to be totally honest. I mean, we absolutely try and stay out of all the other beef, like you were saying about the Tang Gang and stuff.
Yeah.
I really have no time for it.
They need to come start their own family on here.
Well, they do. Somi needs to start his own family.
Oh, yeah.
But he's ignoring me lately.
Well, I mean, like I just try to avoid all drama unless it's theatrics, which is fun in the chat between what everyone's got going on. But it's not poo-pooing on your bags drama. It's brother and sister squabbling drama, or like rivals on particular sports teams like drama. This is great. But real drama is just bad. And that's why this, I think, has the bridging of the community aspect and the chance. This kind of ideal has the chance to broaden multiple chains of people together under one roof of pay and earn, DeFi for all. We're all on the same team here, but we're enjoying ourselves at the same time. And I think that's going to be a great healing mechanic for everything that's going on, since Pulse Chain got all crazy. But it also sets the standard for the type of things that we want to see, both from the onboarding, no coiner type point of view, and those of us that want to take it into a deeper dive, whether it's game or whether that's blockchain. Both are very technical things, but can be very rewarding if you learn it. Why not be entertained to do both?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely what the power of this, is not just this. I mean, I know that the next iteration of protocols that are going to come from Jacob, I think he really wants to try and concentrate now on the algorithmic stablecoin. But as this starts to progress, I think this is really going. I mean, it's so big. It's such a beast of a project, and it can. Who knows where it can go in the next couple of years, even.
Well, that's why I said we're already striking on this kind of stuff with FanForge. Like this is how we really manipulate people. Not manipulate, but we encourage people to get into crypto and make it rewarding, because you can get an algo stablecoin protocol and then bootstrap on an interactive experience while you're doing it. So you can get both, right? Why not do both? And why not set that standard to do both? Like this type of stuff has a lot of legs and a lot more and more giving validity to what you can do with NFTs. I mean, clearly we understand what a rapper is. We know what an HSI and T-shirt is. We understand all this stuff. But this is where it gets engaging, addictive, and keeps it relevant and sticky all at the same time.
Yeah. Briss, with your Trump family, are you doing anything to actively try and recruit people, or is it literally, are you just a group of buddies getting together and doing it that way?
Yes,
because I'm looking here,
buddies, and I've just been inviting people through the invite function. So I'm just looking at the new players on the bottom, and I'm just sending everybody an invite. And I know a couple other of the members are too. But yeah, that's all we're doing at the moment. I mean, I'm just not sure how much I don't know if I want to go as far as setting up a Discord and doing all this stuff. And then I just don't end up playing that much. I don't know. So right now I just basically I set up my Baron character and got him going, and I'm just waiting for the game to roll out. Really.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got a bunch of crates. You've opened a bunch of crates. Look at this.
That's right. Distributed some of them to the other family members.
Nice.
That's the way you got to be. I mean, that's what it's all about, really.
Yeah, I think the potential for this to bring people together, I think, is huge as well. You know, there's like, for example, even, you know, you guys, this is the first time I've ever streamed with you guys. And I mean, obviously, Briss, I've seen you around for the last few years. But KvltDeFi, yeah, you sort of come out of nowhere in the last week or so. And I think it's great, you know, so you know, the game hasn't even launched yet, and we're already bringing more of the community together. It's great. Right. Good stuff.
Well, that's what we're trying to do. Also, it helps to build on it, to build that kind of user engagement and experience, because we find it dope. Like, we think that this is like what we should be doing with our technology, is like engaging, sharing, enjoying ourselves, like all the rest of that, and hell, earn at the same time. You know, get your prestige in, get your clout points, and why not do them all together? So yeah, it's going to be cool. It really, really, really is. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to play against other families. I didn't even know what Gifford was going to write on that video, but apparently, KG, we're coming for you. We're sending in the spies. You missed lunch, and now you're going to pay. You're going to pay.
Yeah, I'm setting up a stream for next week. It'll probably be it'll probably be next Friday, I think. And it's going to be with all the dons. So it's going to be basically a sit down with all the dons. Nice. I think that should be really good. I want to try and do as like almost like a question and answer, but a debate stage.
Sure.
So we can really sort of drill down and see what everyone's doing. Obviously, the stream that I did with Archie Capone the other day.
Yeah, Archie.
Yeah, that was I mean, he is absolutely, I mean, he's spending hours and hours on this every day to try and really boost this and boost everything for his family in general. I think that when we get everyone together, all the dons, I actually think that a lot of people should actually be really taking what he's doing and running with it themselves with their own families, to be perfectly honest. But that's my point of view. I personally haven't joined any family. I need to stay neutral. I need to be neutral territory.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you can't have an anonymous character and run around.
I mean, yeah, I've thought about that too.
Well, I mean, clearly you couldn't admit
Trump
to that
family welcomes you.
I know for a fact that as a creator of these things, you want the unbiased user experience. So that way you can not be influenced by placebo or personal intent, but also sometimes you need to see it from the ground on the other direction. Just pretend to be someone that doesn't speak English or have no idea what a keyboard is or anything like that. Like, I'm 2 years old. I broke on a mom's computer. And yeah, just to see it from the other angle, because that's what's really cool about seeing your creation be a simulation in real time, is to actually watch it go and not know what's going to happen next. I mean, you have an idea, but with systemic design, it's multiple different system designs that ebb and flow binded to each other. You never really know where the ball's going to roll. And that's kind of fascinating when you look at how do we build the next time? What do we lease for an expansion? How do we turn a key in a particular direction to turn up the fun to the 11? And God, it's really neat. It's super really neat. So what city are you in your Trump family over there, Briz?
New York, baby. That's where Trump's from.
Oh my. So we have pretty much all of our rivals here on America. Who's the rival families in Italy? I haven't even really looked.
Let's have a look right now.
One family called the Yakuza. Are they out of Japan? No, they're out of New York too.
Yeah, so Napoli and
Palermo. Napoli, Palermo.
Medellin.
Medellin.
What are the total districts? There are 7, is that right?
Yeah.
7? Okay, so 3 in Europe, the rest looks like are in America, right?
Yeah, and obviously Medellin in
Well, Italy, yeah. Landlocked from America is basically what I'm saying, because all the rest of the other ones will need cars to travel, whereas the other one are going to need planes. So technically, Italy is segregated without, and there's only one airplane, right? The D5 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Someone needs to create the Clinton crime family. It will be very powerful.
The Clinto Illuminati.
Okay, so yeah, because I know that the Yakuza are a splinter from the syndicate, right?
Well, I do believe that's how it works on BNB. You know, the funniest thing, I was asking the other Dons about this because I was trying to suss out the mechanics, and I was deep in game dev land, so I couldn't poke around. I couldn't run on BNB. Didn't have time. And for some weird reason, I thought it was live on BNB. And I'm like, yo, how did the turn mechanics work? Answer this. And they were all being quiet, kind of dodging around. And then someone else joined the family. It's like, no, the game's not even running on BNB. I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. All this time, there's all this drama over early access on the BNB side. And how long has the BNB early access been open?
A month.
Okay. Man, it's wild. We're what, 7 days?
Yeah, 7 days, and I mean we're 20. If we're 20% of hitting the vault target,
sure.
And I think in the month on BNB, well, I think we're about 93 BNB in the vault at the moment. So that's pretty much 20% of the target over that side as well.
You're 500 BNB over there, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're pretty much 20% of the way on both. But I mean, obviously, people know, people over on Pulse Chain, they know of the Jacob and the Jacob ecosystem of projects. So it's just going to be natural that we speed things up over on this side.
Yeah, but it actually is a good metric because, I mean, ideally, you don't want to rush so fast that so much goes on before you have time to test it all out. I'm sure a lot of the code and mechanics are already done before the launch. So right now it's battle hardening per code, and maybe even the BNB side is done, which wouldn't surprise me. And now they're implementing them side by side with the Pulse Chain side. As they're activating that and running them together, they're rolling the rollouts at the same time to build attention. But I think that's great, not just from the financial targets of how successful it's getting eyeballs on it, but how much it's steaming up on the amount of user engagement that we're getting, per week. Like that's great mechanics and pretty good metrics.
Yeah. I was chatting with Hans. Hans Crypto. Hansy.
I know the name, and I've seen it recently. That's why I remember seeing it somewhere else. I think it was probably
Hans is he's very much a TA guy.
Yeah.
Even on his own channel and stuff. I was talking to him this morning. He's actually opened a family today. He's the Grand Clan. He's got a picture of a granny. But but he looked at the charts and he said, okay, yeah, this is a go.
Yeah,
so, I think.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, no, I think it's really cool that we have a lot of people in the community that can look at this and see the real potential. It's not just, okay, I can earn some money with this, but if we look at what it can do for the blockchain, what it can do for the community, I think that is just a testament to by itself. People are literally just looking at it and saying, okay, yes, I'm in.
Well, not only that, it actually gives a good ratification of what the tax would be and what it's used for. I loved Jacob's reference of the tax man, like the mighty evil tax man with his hat and brimmed glasses. But, buying the token sometimes is annoying. Like you got to use Edge and put the slippage to 5% because sometimes a different browser doesn't go through. It's a little annoying, but those are growing pains. The use case of how the tax is being put back into the system to fund the economy and make that economy thicker. And if you want to remove that economic value of it, the tax still gets paid to the tax man to maintain that essence of weight that's being constantly matured into the game. Now, here's a fun fact. You can do expansions to as many other cities as you want. Like, not only is he building with your proxy contract, so you can actually do those type of things as a designer. That's what a DLC is, or expanding it from there. So when Jacob's saying like the game can go on for 20 years, he's correct based on what components and tiles of the board you systematically place to expand different continents, different cities, different types of mechanics, how the game can evolve into a more complex game or into a more mobile sticky game that's more UI UX friendly. There's plenty of ways that it can actually grow on its own accord based on how it's being created.
I'm also wondering if all the in-game NFT assets, if those will be able to be purchased with the in-game currency instead of being just traded with for PLS or something, or Mafia.
Well, he also said that you can take those NFTs to like Mintra or some other decentralized exchange and trade it there too. So it actually is like the in-game currency itself is baked into your character wallet. That not your character wallet, your in-game character's life and the family's cycle of their bank. But the actual Mafia and the NFTs that are external, I believe, also can be moved around outside the marketplace. So that's where it's going to be interesting to see where that leverage of economic energy can find parity, right, with the economic energy of what is being traded for open PLS too.
Yeah, we're so early with this. I think it's great to watch it unfold. And another thing, because it's not live yet, even chats exactly like this. This is speculation. It's really building a lot of suspense.
Yeah,
and I really, I'm 100% behind this. I think the potential of this game for as really just basic onboarding, I think is good. I
had another thought. Sorry to interrupt. I had another thought too, that a game like this, it could keep people's hands, that are normally idle, and maybe they want to go buy some like random shit coin. Maybe they could play this game instead, and that will almost like scratch that itch of being bored, because like Hex, great crypto, it's a little boring, but that's why it's kind of awesome. But meanwhile, instead of buying just random crap left and right and possibly getting scammed, you could play a game like this, and while your stakes are maturing.
100 couldn't said it better, Bruce. You're 100% right, and it gives all of those things reason just for the itch, right? You're technically earning more in-game currency or leveling up your character, like we putting quarters into a arcade machine, or doing anything else that you value to level yourself up in the meantime. And like you said before, Briz, it's not a grinder where you got to be there and kill 10,000 boar to get 10 levels of experience in World of Warcraft South Park edition. Like, it doesn't have that I'm locked in. I can pick it up, but I can keep looking at it, and I don't technically have to play. And the turn of waiting builds that anticipation as well.
You could play it on your lunch break.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how interactive it's actually going to be to play as well.
Yeah, that's the turn-based model that I was originally talking in the beginning. Like, once you can actually understand that for me is the real core of understanding how everything else will Venn diagram and fold and time into each other, is how many turns per hour, because there's already cooldown on cars and vehicles. So clearly it's by tick, by minute per use case, or it could even be within blocks, right? A 30-minute block. That's always, if you're within that window, it pushes you to one side or another. I think that's the coolest part that I can't wait to see, because then all the cards are almost on the table at that point. All the theatrics that people are jockeying back and forth, like that's where the secret sauce comes out, is the turn-based mechanics and the response-based mechanics.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll have that. Well, we'll have that soon. I mean, looking at all the images that Jacob has been putting up and putting around, it really lends itself quite well to the story.
Mhm.
So we're like right now, like, we're all speculating what's going to happen, what's it going to look like. I think as the marketplace goes live, and then when the map comes out, I think once the map comes out, I think then that's when we really know, okay, this is going to look like this. It's going to be played like this.
Yeah,
and that's basically go. That's go stage.
I mean, to be fair, I've even not seen on the game. I just want to see the map part on the wiki. I want to see it on the wiki. I can already build it in my head. But yeah, that's the MVP. I think that we're going to learn all of those things together is when map really comes online. We can understand tiles and locations, where things are. And you know what that story is? Identify where my home is. Don't you want to go to your home? Go to your home, right? When you actually see where you live, you put some personal identity onto that, which gives it validity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really where we got. That's really what's going to bring this to fruition, if you like.
Oh, another big shout out to DYOR with his Telegram bot and all the rest of that. He absolutely killed it with being able to say what family it's going to, the picture that's coming across it, actually parsing out the data, thinking about how those that may not have access to their crypto wallet could see notifications on what's going on the chain, and how cool is that on how they all work together. But there was already that with his pulse bot and the interactive game within the gambling feature that was in his Telegram. So we're already seeing this evolution of that kind of back and forth together, which is great.
Yeah, it is. The community are really starting to take this on board and start to run with it, really. Another thing which I think is going to be coming soon is, we have the tip bot on PulseBot.
Yeah.
So in the Telegram, you can tip other people. I think the tip bot is coming to Mafia.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah. Yeah, that's great stuff.
Yeah, and I noticed the transferring of NFTs to different players. That was pretty easy. I like that. You just type in the name.
It's simple. It's absolutely, it's really simple.
It's really good. I can see tips being almost the same exact thing,
Sure. And what I like about it is the death mechanic, that name is forever immortalized, and that journey of that character is forever dead.
Until it's killed.
That's right. That's the important part, right? In Project Mayhem, no one has the name until they die, and his name was Robert Paulson.
See, that's also the thing that I'm a little worried about. Will the game almost be a pay-to-win game, where the guy who buys the most bullets can just come run down your character? And it's like, if you don't have enough money to have enough health or bodyguards to absorb the bullets,
I mean, that's why you have intrigue and alliances, my friend. There's a button that says no alliances.
In my opinion, it's almost like real life. It really is pay to win in real life, right?
Well, it's pay to
who has the most money
wins. Now, all right. Just because you have money, usually that means you're more lazy, to be fair. Like in the real world, if you have money to lose, you're not as worried and you're not penny pinching. Those that use strategy and alliances properly can probably outfox someone that just has a big old bag and they can let their character die and then respawn another one because what's it to me? I have a bunch of money. But then that's feasting for in-game currency. If you look at Hunger Games.
So,
Hunger Games is very similar in the dichotomy on how you fight with people with utility versus connections.
So the thing I'm not really worried about losing the end-game currency, but those NFTs, those things are pretty expensive. I don't want, I'm really wondering if someone kills me, do they get all my freaking NFTs?
They certainly do. They certainly do. And
those all have dollar value attached.
They have rarity too. So there's only one. There's only a certain number of each thing per district, right? So that gives you.
I really want to be able to protect my character from.
I think the gearheads may have that something like that figured out, but I'm sorry, it's a family secret. But again, the what's I know. Sorry, Briz. Goddamn game devs, swear to God. But what's interesting is that everything's the floor has lava mentality. So when the game is live, your tile theoretically is a hot potato. Now, I am not going to give any not game developer advice because I'm going to keep that for myself for the gearheads. But what I would say is that if your tile is live in hot potato, how many turns can you sit in that tile? What do you have to do to have some kind of anonymity? Not just the safe house. The safe house is technically a place for you when you have an active hit that makes you immortal for a particular amount of time. That doesn't mean there's not other ways to keep your character safe. All the documentation needs to be displayed, but I could probably tell you a few ways. But that safe house is your pay to be immortal. So that's where a Don would go into hiding when they were putting a huge hit out to go to war. That's a war room is what that room is.
I like Big Kahuna in chat. He says, what about we make all the killed avatars into zombies?
That's right. Plants versus Zombies. I'm already a plant terrorist. Plants versus Zombies.
Actually, that would be kind of interesting. How about everyone turns into a ghost, and now you have a second world. We have all the ghost players going against each other.
I've got some ideas for all the rest of that. Like, again, I saw this and immediately split my brain in half on how you could do all sorts of stuff. And that's why I'm saying, like, this is brilliantly done. And that's why I'm 100% involved, supporting, want to make content in our pedigree and what, GIF and I do, because we believe in this stuff. We're doing stuff on the separate front, but this is good. This is very, very good. And it's going to get better as everyone else does things like this to make engagement. So yeah, if you had one game that, RIP you passed, but that NFT, that experience, that character file could have some economic value in something else, even bringing the storyline over, even bringing like who I was and where it went. Like, that's really cool. And that's the experience of gamification, not just game finance, right? It's like, how do I keep me in the system, even if it's another system that was rewarding with something else?
I just want to throw that out there, Jacob. Think about give everyone a second life as a ghost, and all the ghost people can only interact with other ghost characters, ghost wallets.
That's right.
And we have, I think that'd be kind of interesting.
That's right. It would be Mafia Busters, right? Instead of Ghostbusters, right? The world.
Everyone's going to be playing on the ethereal plane as a ghost gangster.
That's right.
That's it. See? Oh, here we go. Jacob has posted, so he's listening.
Yeah, no, Jacob's a clever guy. Like, I really, really, really enjoyed listening to him with KG. It was I hadn't got a chance because I've been so heads down with these other things to seen a lot of this other stuff, but you can tell the cast of character on how he speaks about particular things, whether it's the drama, the story, the intrigue, the components, how everything's coming together. Like, all of that, it's not only conceptually important, but you can see how someone references with both the metaphor on we can't wait to see what happens here, right? Because a true game developer, or a game, you don't know the real answer to if it's done well. You don't know what's really going to happen. You have an idea. There are lenses, there are lanes you can travel down. But when the experience is random because of what other people make with their own video game or their own story or their own experience or other clash of clans of families and people, that's where it gets really fun to see what actually happens, who betrays and works together. And they build that user-generated content for you rather than it coming directly, from a script, which can get static. This is very dynamic in how the user-generated experience can evolve into something else and will evolve into something else. And so one thing that Archie, he's a Civilization player, both of us are. I think a lot of people that enjoy real-time strategies or something like this understands how a civilization or your own epoch of wealth and network can grow and how fascinating it is to play, to see it all also get turned down, when Gandhi nukes you and you're like, well, fuck, I guess I got to start over again. And you do, because it's the journey of that process. Oh, God. It's my oldest best friend.
Yeah, we've got so much potential with this game. We've got so much potential to obviously earn, to onboard people, to keep a serious number of transactions going on the chain. It's a little bit of fun. It's, you know, it can be a little bit serious. It's yeah, it's one of those projects. It's one of those projects that comes around every once in a while. You know, it's not literally just, okay, buy this token, let's see what happens. I think that the in-game utility that Jacob is bringing around, I mean, it's next level stuff. It really is next level stuff. And you know, I'm constantly amazed with the innovations that are coming around. And yeah,
it's almost like a utility coin mixed into the game, and it's also an hourglass game. And you know,
it's got all those,
cool.
It got all those components, but I consider it more like a dinner and a show, right? It's like a whole thing that you can enjoy yourself with across the board. Like, you get a good meal, you get a good movie, you're in nice seats. I had a fun experience having this, but yeah, it's got all the interesting things about, like, a very improved idea of what a reflection would be, or and it's not an hourglass game because there's no sand is out. It's more roguelike, right? You have one life, play it well, and use that as your pedigree, right? Like, you know, Briz is second in command of a house of family. It's hard to take him out, but he get enough people, he may be able to, right? And now it's New York. This is New York. I am New York. Yeah.
Perfect. Guys, we've been going for an hour and a half. I think I can call it, actually.
Yeah, man. Glad to be here with you. It was a lot of fun.
Hey, seriously,
to help, like, across the board, like, this is what I do for my day job. It's what I've been passionate about for years. I've been talking about doing this stuff, and, you know, we're striking on the other end, on another side to do the exact same thing. But anything that, Jacob, when you're watching, anything I can do to help or talk or do whatever, I'm all about it, because not only do we need this, it's fascinating, and I really am impressed and want to help push this entire narrative on how we make Pulse Chain for entertainment, and make that not just eyeballs on Pulse, but sets it as the focal point to be entertained on Pulse. I think it's a fantastic avenue, lens, and to onboard that all the other chains really don't have. Solana is just go gamble with NFTs. Like, you really don't get a stable thing that you can run a game on. We have that opportunity with Pulse Chain. Yeah,
we do. And you hit the nail on the head right there. We have such a big opportunity here. You know, I think really we're going to hit the ground running because we've got a pretty decent community. We've got a lot of time to really strategize and build this out.
Sure.
I mean, even with these streams, I mean, I'd absolutely love to stream with you guys. When we could do something regularly if you want, as the game starts to unfold, you know, because everyone does their little bit, and we'll get there. You know, we'll get there in the end.
It'll be pretty cool once the game actually launches.
Yeah,
and you know, I think it'll be fun to have like a stream going where we're all playing our own characters, and let's see if we can get some kind of coordinated crime event going on, right?
Right,
exactly.
Like I was reading through the wiki. I cannot wait to rob a kindergarten.
That's the one.
Those kids. They were bad kids.
That's right. Naughty.
Cool. All right, guys. So like, subscribe, do all of that cool stuff, and we'll be
Trump
we'll
family
catch you again.
Gearheads.
Gearheads are up there.
There's no wall to get into the Trump family.
All right, guys. Good luck.
We off?